All right, what up, people? It's your boy Chig from Guna Eagle Eye, coming to you again with a brand new video. This time, it's another episode of Eagle Eye, the transfer rumor show, where I talked about rumors surrounding the Arsenal. Now, guys. I couldn't see you guys chatting away in the chat room. Jahid, I see you. Oh, I hope he's not an hour late like last time. How often do I do that to you? I mean, really. Not only that, did I not explain why yesterday? Work is work. Sometimes it comes up, and as much as I love doing the show, ultimately, my primary job will always take precedence because, quite frankly, it's the thing that's paying the bills. I did explain that yesterday, but seems like I have to explain that again. But anyway, big up to everyone that is in the chat room so far, and that continues to be in the chat room. Please do stick a like on this video, and I will take you through transfer stories in the style that you know I can. Big up to everyone, and let's see if we can go through these stories. Let's talk about Jonathan Tah. Jonathan Tah, now, for anyone who doesn't know, I did a video comparing Jonathan Tah to Upamecano. Must have been 2 months ago now, in my Chid Knows Best video series, so do go check that out. And he may configure in a video coming up soon. I won't confirm or deny that just yet. And what I said was, individually as a player, Upamecano is probably the better player with the higher ceiling. But I felt like that Jonathan Tah would be the appropriate buy out of the two because he's quite frankly cheaper and but more for the reason that he has more experience out of him and say Saliba. And I think he'd be the most appropriate partner for Saliba because, he would be the experienced head out of the two. Jonathan Tah has had Champions League experience. He's played in another league. He's the older guy, but he's not so old that he completely can't relate to Saliba. So Saliba can use that experience next to him. And I felt that would be the better balance. If I was building a defence, for me, a defence that included Saliba, that's what I would do. And I know some people disagreed. Some people agreed. Some people disagreed with that. But both people, I think, recognise that both defenders are a hell of a lot better than the defenders we have in place at the moment. Now, obviously, this everyone knows that I think if there's two defenders which Mikel Arteta has identified as players who can play with William Saliba, it is Upamecano, who would be the ideal choice. He's set to cost £52.5 million this summer. But as I keep saying, and as I said a year ago, 18 months ago, he's going to be, a lot of people will be offered this kid when he's available. And I made a prediction that I think he'll go Man City. I made that prediction 18 months ago. And I felt that it would just be sensible to have backup plans. What I'm happy about in these stories that I'm about to talk about, it looks like Arsenal, if we are going to be active in the transfer window, and even in that respect, it's still a big if. There's a lot of question marks about this pandemic that we're going through at the moment. But that if we are going to have backup plan, if we are going to go off be active in the transfer window, it looks like we have backup plans. So that's what I am happy about. So let's start to talk through that. And one of that is Jonathan Tah. Jonathan Tah is a 6'5" Bayer Leverkusen defender. Excellent defender. Just a big lump of a man. No nonsense. Good experience. No nonsense. Good experience. Strong. Got great leadership skills. Just a really good defender. Really accomplished defender. More often than not, when I talk about defenders, you guys in the chat room will often reply, Jonathan Tah. Actually, you guys have done that probably for about 3 years. You've been banging on about Jonathan Tah. And you can see why. One thing I would say about Tah, I don't think he's necessarily the most elegant of footballers, but he's very much a no-nonsense defender. And funny enough, I think he's the sort of defender we need. Because if William Saliba is the ball-playing guy, And by no means, don't get it twisted. Jonathan Tah, I think, is a very good passer. His stats back that up. He's got great height and presence, which is personally what I like to see in my defenders. But I think if Saliba's the more elegant one, I think Jonathan Tah is an excellent foil to that. Anyway, I bang on and on about this to say this. Jonathan Tah at the moment has a release clause of 40 million euros, which is about 36 million pounds. Unfortunately, the problem lies in when that clause expires. That clause expires on the 31st of May, which in ordinary season would be tight, but it wouldn't be the biggest issue, especially because by that point you would know what competition you're going to be in. The season would have been wrapped up. You could then start to use next year's budget a little bit early if you really wanted to. But obviously we don't know anything. We don't know at the moment when our season will restart. It damn sure is looking like the season will run past the 31st of May. So that makes that clause useless. So now a defender of the caliber of Tah all of a sudden starts to get more closer to the Upamecano price because he is that good. He is only 24 years old as well. As someone who I would imagine at this point in their career is looking for their next move as well. It is interesting to note that that same clause kicks in next year as well. So if the season starts, the clause essentially restarts, and he won't be then available for 40 million euros until the 31st of May 2021. So I guess it is a case of, is this a player that we take a gamble on nice, quickly, and swiftly? And I think in order for us to be able to do that, Stan is going to actually have to spend his own money. This is going to be one of those things whereby this ain't going to be part of the self-sufficiency. This is going to be, okay, well, we need a defender, and we've just lost out on Upamecano. Let's just assume we've lost out on Upamecano. We can't afford to lose out on Tah. And if we can get it for relatively cheap, because 40 million still ain't that cheap, but it's cheap in the grand scheme of things, then maybe this is the way to go forward. So I don't know, guys. What do you guys think? Let me know. Leave it in the comments below. It says at the moment that there were all of a sudden it's wiped out the number of people that were listening. I hope can you guys still hear me? You guys are still there, yeah? I hope you're still there. All right, let's talk about big up Ola in the chat. I see you, brother. I see you, my bro. I see you, my bro. We got to do something football wise again on Sunday. They're calling for it. All right. So that's all right. I'll leave Ola for the time being. Let's talk about a story I literally just put on my community post. So, guys, sometimes if I'm not active necessarily doing videos, I'll always be active putting stuff in the community posts. So it's always advisable to check my community post just in case I put a story in there. Just like this next story I'm about to talk about, and that's Alexo Disasi, or Disasi. Yeah, Alexo Folia. Someone else put in the comments from Reims, which is a La Liga, Liga 2, man. You know what I'm talking about. He's 22 years old and he's a centre back. Arsenal are taking a real close look at this guy. 6'3", this guy. So we've got a thing for big defenders, which I'm certainly excited by. Please, long may the days of 6 foot defenders be over. Let's go for big motherfuckers. That's all I want. And it looks like this is another guy in that type of kind of range. Obviously, he's a lesser known name. There's more risk attached to this guy. I'm a little confused because on transfermarket.com, it says he has a year left. But apparently, according to this report, they said that they are prepared to allow Disasi to leave this summer as opposed to next, which would suggest, okay, well, you clearly have more than a year left. And the price certainly suggests that. So he's 22 years old. supposedly he has a lot of people looking at him. A lot of people, from Dortmund to us to Inter Milan to Barcelona even. So I was looking at him. So he's obviously someone that's been highly scouted as a decent player. The price that he would command is about £17.5 million or 20 million euros. But clearly, he's got a lot of talent. I only say that just based on the amount of people that seem to be watching him. I'll be lying if I said I've even heard of this guy. I'll be absolutely lying. But you guys know what I like to do. When a name is mentioned, I'll research, so that by the time this rumor either is denied or there is some substance to it, I'll suddenly become an expert on it. That's what I like to do. It's how you expand your knowledge. I don't think there's necessarily anything wrong with that. So yeah, I don't know a lot about him other than, he's highly coveted, and clearly coming with a little bit of a rep there. But I guess it's important to kind of put these things into perspective. He is coming from the second league division in France. And I know there's a lot of people that don't really rate Liga 1, never mind Liga 2. So, yeah, it is what it is. But you guys let me know what you think. Is this someone that you take a punt on? Yes, some people might say, the last time we got someone from La Liga 2 was Guendouzi. Take that for whatever you want. But I also would point out to the fact that, true, Gabriel Martinelli came from the second division in Brazil. So these things do come in swings and roundabouts. 20 million euros, though, for a guy that plays in the second league, second division of France. I don't know if that's us potentially going to be cheated or robbed by someone, or if he really is about that life and they recognize that, and that's why they're charging so much for him. Could work both ways. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments below. I'm going to go with the big story that you perhaps would have expected me to go with, and that is Mr. Phil Coutinho. He's obviously the Brazilian, someone who, I'll be honest, I've not rated even when he played for Liverpool. I got into so many rounds with Liverpool fans over this guy. I never rated him. I just thought he was a slightly better version of James Rodriguez. He just reminds me of that sort of player, he's a highlight player, but then when you actually drill down in the substance of what he does, is he all that? I don't know. I don't know. But anyway, obviously he moved in a very big money move to Barcelona a couple of years ago from Liverpool for, I think it was 54 million in the end, something like that, to Barcelona. And to say he has been a flop would be an understatement. First season didn't go particularly well. Second season, I think it was the second season, he went on loan to Bayern Munich. At Bayern Munich, I think he got himself something on the lines of 9 assists, 6 goals, something like that. Which, in the grand scheme of things, considering the way our certain number 10 is being looked at, those stats ain't too bad when you compare him to him. But yeah, Bayern Munich have no interest in him whatsoever. And now Barcelona are so desperate to get him off the books. They've basically offered him to us and to Chelsea. And they basically said, listen, we need this guy off the books. Because at the moment, I think he's on £290,000 a week. I mean, when we're starting to pay players more than Barcelona, we've got problems. We've got our own money-hungry MFer. We're trying to get off the books. Don't know if we need another one. But considering he moved for 154 million, the price is now 75 million pounds. I mean, wow. What a fall from grace this is. In fact, they're so desperate to get him off the books. What they've said is, listen, we'll either do that for you, or if you could just take him on loan for 12 months, that'd be great. Where do I stand on this? I might surprise you. I'd consider him if it was a loan. I would. I'd consider him if it was a loan. I can't stress that enough. If it was a loan, purely on the basis that we need creativity. All of a sudden, when you really think about that team, right, we don't really have a number 10. And regardless of whether you or I think that a number 10 is necessary in a team, clearly Arteta likes a number 10. And he becomes over-reliant on a Mesut Ozil because he's so keen on a number 10. And I'd like to see Mesut Ozil, if he's going to stay this summer, and I'm resigned to the fact that he is going to stay this summer, then quite frankly, I'd like to see Mesut Ozil earn his place in the squad. I did say this yesterday when I was talking about Emile Smith-Rowe, and I suggested that, for me, if Emile Smith-Rowe wants to play as a number 10 and compete with Mesut, that would be great to me, but that Emile Smith-Rowe always struck me as more of a number 8. This potentially might solve that problem, but man, 290 for a guy that I don't think is that good in the first place is a struggle for me to justify. But if we could get him to drop his wages, or we could get Barcelona to pay some of them wages, and we take it for like 150 mil, maybe a fee of 10 mil in terms of a loan fee. No necessarily obligation to buy, but maybe an option to buy. I'd be lying if I said I wouldn't be tempted. I'd be lying, but to me, this would be the last deal out of all the things that we need to consider and spend money on first. To me, this would be the last deal to complete. But I'd be lying to you if I said I would dismiss it offhand. And mind you, I was a guy that didn't like Philippe Coutinho when he played for Liverpool. so by rights, I should rate him less now. That number 10 area does concern me a little bit, that we don't potentially have enough there. And our funds are going to be pretty small as it is. And I think if there is a loan that we can do nice and easy that helps in that situation. Like, to me, if you said to me, gosh, this is controversial, but I'm going to say it anyway. This is going to be a big controversial statement. And Liverpool fans will find this one pretty interesting. So, Liverpool, you never walk alone. VP, Rabadan. Guess have a listen to this one. If you said to me, would I rather take Phil Coutinho on a 12-month loan or sign Adam Lallana, I might take Phil Coutinho, on a loan. Oh, I can't stress that enough. On a loan, I might. Oh gosh, that is a horrible situation to be in. But what do you guys think? Let me know. Leave in the comments below. You can see I ain't altogether confident or comfortable even saying what I just said. But here we go. I know people don't normally like hearing about youngsters. Arsenal are apparently interested in Lamar Bugard, who is the Ajax midfield. Sorry, Ajax. Feyenoord midfielder. I've heard of this kid before, purely because someone in the chat room brought it up the other day. And he's someone that I've had an opportunity to look at and see. 16 years old, already playing for the Feyenoord first team. Registered 19 appearances, scored 2 goals, provided 4 assists, which means he's already had more goal contribution than Mesut Ozil. He's 16. So, he's another one who is being highly, and I do mean highly, coveted by a lot of clubs. Lots of people are interested in this young man. Someone I'd be tempted to go for. I must admit, it all depends on the price. But I know he's someone that I've had a look at seeing, and what do you guys think? I know some of you made a comment earlier about, hold on, what about Goku from the same team? And you know Arsenal, they're always looking for a deal. Maybe he's a better deal. But what do you guys think? Please leave it in the comments below. Final story I'm going to talk about, I think is one that all of us already knew anyway, but lots of papers seem to be running very strongly with it at the moment, and that is Luka Jovic. I think Mikel Arteta has made Jovic the number one choice to replace Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang. To me, this makes sense in a lot of different ways. He's a type of player that I would imagine Arteta would like. Hasn't worked out for Real Madrid, and lots of people are probably wondering, well, if it hasn't worked out at Real Madrid, why do we want him? I think we've seen lots of players go to Real Madrid, and for whatever reason, it's not worked out. A case in point is Gareth Bale. I think most of us would take Gareth Bale purely on talent. Would take Gareth Bale today. The only reason that I wouldn't take Gareth Bale is purely because of his injury record. And I feel like we've got enough of those sort of guys to get injured. But on his talent, to me, I would still take Gareth Bale. I think he's still better than most people that play on that left-hand side. And I think he would have a lot of impact in the team. There are lots of people that go to Real Madrid too early, quite frankly. And that's the one thing, that's the one bit of hope I hold on to the Upamecano deal, is that maybe he might say to himself, do you know what? Maybe that move might be a little early. Let me continue developing at a big club like Arsenal. And then when the time is right, then move to a Real Madrid. I personally wouldn't recommend that young players go to Real Madrid because they're under pressure always to buy established talent. So if you don't hit the ground running quick, good luck. Very rarely do you see these type of clubs roll with young guys. There's a reason for that, you know. And I think Jovic is another case in point of someone that has moved to Real Madrid just too early. And I think probably the fair thing to do would be to judge him on the season before, where he absolutely killed it for his previous club. And for that reason is the reason I like him. I like him. I think most of us have accepted now that Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang is probably leaving. And the task now is to try and replace him. I think the best bet of doing that is probably bringing in someone like a Jovic and maybe a winger of some sort to replace the goal contributions of Aubameyang. And I like the kid. I think he's good. I think he's a talent. I think he's still got so much time to kind of shake this Real Madrid experience off and still make something of himself. And I back him to do that. And I think he could do that potentially. I think it's interesting that this story comes out the day after Real Madrid have declared that they're interested in Aubameyang. I know that last summer or in January, there was a big rumor that Real Madrid wanted to offer 30 million plus Jovic. If we can get anything close to that, that to me sounds like a no-brainer deal. Especially if Aubameyang wants to go. As I said yesterday, I still think the first priority should be trying to keep him. But to me, I don't let him play into his final year. I think if he doesn't want to sign on, you sell him immediately. We should have been on doing that. To me, I think 2 years, if you don't show any indication and you've got 2 years left on your deal and you don't show any indication you want to stay, you should be bouncing. So that we're not in a situation where we're letting the caliber of someone like Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang go for 40 to 50 million. So I think that's the horrible situation we're in there. But we are where we are now, so it's important to react to it. Our captain's got a year left. He doesn't look like he wants to stay. Let's get the very best we can for him. And maybe Jovic is that guy. He's shown that, at least in the past, he's a goal scorer. He's 22 years old. For me, I just like his movement. I like everything about him. It just hasn't worked out in Real Madrid. Sometimes it just doesn't work in certain places. But yeah, what do you guys think? Let me know in the comments below. All right, I think I've covered everything. So let's go into the chat room and see what you lot are saying. Guys, please, absolutely drill the crap out of that like button. I know it sounds like rhetoric whenever I say it, but I do appreciate it when you guys do that. It helps the show get noticed. It helps the show get treated a little bit more seriously by YouTube. I don't know if Lee's mentioned this on his shows, but I'll talk about mine. And that's the fact that, you know, for some reason, YouTube are taking their time processing my videos. And me and Lee have speculated on WhatsApp. Like, is it just because, you know, we're not KSI, we don't have KSI numbers or something? Like, why are they taking their time? And yeah, all right, I get it that every company is under a little bit of pressure due to what's happening, but it's so highly frustrating. And I think, you know, call me a conspiracy theorist, but I think just certain stupid things like pressing the like button and showing that there's traffic going through the video helps YouTube take it a little bit more seriously. Because I think one thing I might have to do more of is just doing pre-recorded shows so that there's not a processing problem. Because quite honestly, and this is just me being real with you guys, it does affect the money and it affects the views when YouTube takes ages and ages trying to process a video. So now the reason I do it is just because I want to get my views across. The money I do earn from this goes back into the show anyway. It helps produce things like my intro outro, which I know a lot of you guys like, and it helps produce lots of other bits and bobs. So if you guys can absolutely drill that like button, it starts with you. This is your show. You know, this is always your show, and that's why I make it a point, no matter how short that period is, of making sure I cover question and answer shows and things like that, because ultimately this ain't about me really. This is about you lot. This is about my interaction with you lot. This is my relationships with you lot. I think one thing that I think me, and I'll give him credit, and Lee, I think are great at, is that I feel like us two, more than anyone, have actual relationships with you lot. Like, we know your traits. We know you a little bit better than most YouTubers. And I think if all you can do, don't worry about donating if you can't donate. For me, I never try and make anybody feel bad about not being able to donate, you know? But if the one thing that you can do, which is free, easy, it's just hitting that like button one time. It stops me bitching. I never have to come back to it. You've done a little bit to help the show, and we all good in the hood. And that's literally all I need from you. If you could do that, that would be amazing. But yeah. Anyway, it's enough of my little rabbiting on. Let me come back into the chat room, see what you lot are saying. Also, just quick plugs. You've seen Ola rolling about in the chat room. That's my co-host there. You know what me and Ola just achieved? On our little MMA show that we do every single Friday, we just hit 100 subscribers. So I thank each and every person that subscribes to the Combat Show. Bless you guys. I hope you guys are enjoying it, particularly with the new format and the newbie Will, who's just come on. Here's a United fan. Oh, I know, but he's a lot of fun, and watching him and Ola going back and forth is always hilarious because Ola just gets emotional with it. And whenever Ola gets emotional, it's hilarious. So make sure if you're an MMA fan, a boxing fan, do subscribe to the Combat Show. The link is in the description below. Also, Chick Flicks. I ain't forgotten that. Doing some work on that. Again, like I mentioned, things that I put back into the show, just completed an intro outro for that. So set to launch that very, very soon. And once that does launch, you're going to see quick reviews on that channel. I'm about to review the Doctor Strange movie. I'm about to review Far From Home, which I watched yesterday. And I'm about to review, and I have reviewed 3 Netflix movies, all of which are dropping on the channel very, very soon. Chick Flicks, again, the link is in the description below. All right, that's my plugs out the way. Let's get on with it. Let's go into the chat room and see what you lot are saying. All right. So, Omar, not a big fan of Coutinho. I would take him. His quality. Dan T, big up Dan T. I hope you're well. Ratimir already got Ozil. Can't handle another one. And fair enough. For me, I can understand both sides of the coin. Kai Havertz is linked with Barcelona, Bayern, and Liverpool. What chance do we have? Exactly. Obviously, yes, Kai Havertz is the guy you'd go for. There's no way he's coming to Arsenal. We've got more chance of Upamecano than we do of Kai Havertz. Can we pay in vouchers and and Ola with the one-liner of the year? Damn right. Even then, who we kidding? Even then, Arsenal will still try and scrape and save on the vouchers. Who we kidding? Would fill out the left side nicely in tandem with Saka. Yeah, or play him in the middle. I always thought he played well as a number 10 for Liverpool. I know he used to start off on that left-hand side and drift, but I always thought he played well as a number 10. I wouldn't take Coutinho at Arsenal anyways. He ain't even all that. Yeah, I do agree with that. I don't think he's all that either. There's a reason why Bayern and Barca want to get rid of him. That tells you everything you need to know. So no, not for me. Remember, guys, I don't mean buying. I mean alone. I don't mean buying. We don't need a number 10. We need to play 4-3-3 with a CDM and wingers. I did address that because I knew somebody would say that. I'd consider him on loan if we play him at number 10 and not left wing, and the loan fee isn't stupid money. See, Coutinho gets it. For me, I think you could potentially just hear me out here. You could potentially afford a Coutinho as a number 10 if you have active wingers around him. I think you could potentially do it. And I don't know about you, I think it's better than Mesut Ozil, which I know ain't saying much these days, but I think it's still worth saying. I think it's better than Mesut Ozil. So, I know there'll be some Liverpool fans say, "What are you talking about? That ain't what you were saying last year." Yeah, because I like to wind you guys up. But it's better than Mesut Ozil. I would definitely say that. My thing is, we're not Barca or Bayern. We're trying to compete with Wolves and Sheffield United. Exactly. See, I should already know. Ola gets it. Ola gets it. Abe, man, I hope you're well. I see you, my bro. Can we avoid the season already? Oh, shit. Coutinho or Fekir? Oh, well, Fekir. But I like Fekir. I always did. I think he's done okay at Betis as well. It'll be interesting to see if Betis actually came in for Ceballos. Would they let go of Fekir? That would be an interesting little domino effect to see if that actually happened. Thoughts on Jota from Wolves? Oh, I love Jota. I just don't think people have quoted 40 million. I feel like it'd be more. I'd be shocked if they only let him go for 40 million. But yeah, I love Jota. I love Jota. Do you mean as a replacement for Aubameyang? Yeah, that could work. It could work. I wouldn't take Bale, too injury prone. Like I said, Omar, I said on talent. I also said I wouldn't take Bale in the end because he's too injury prone. But on talent, I absolutely would take him. Bigger and better players have gone to both Madrid and Barcelona and have been swallowed up for whatever reason. They're still top players. See, big D's. See. Now I think Ola and Diesel on a podcast that would work. 3 for 4. I'm thinking about that now. That would work well. That would work well. Chig, would I take Kubo on loan? Trying to think who Kubo is. Who is Cooper? Real Madrid fans are vicious. Exactly. If you don't bang in a goal on your debut, the Madrid fans are already side eyeing you, especially if you're a striker. To be honest, mate, I also think Lacazette will go too. Diesel, I'm going to say something that shocks you. Even if Aubameyang goes, I don't necessarily mind that. I don't. I don't. Jota will cost us 75 mil, and that's what I'm saying, bro. That's a figure I could believe. But they were talking about 40 million when we were being linked with it. I'm like, 40 million? Let's go and get him now then. I don't think Chaka is all that. Omar, I'm waiting to see the person you think is all that. Literally, Omar is the kind of guy, right? So I put up these stories on my community post. Omar will always be the first one to comment. And literally, it will always be, never heard of him, don't like him. Never heard of him, don't like him. Never heard of him, don't like him. Bruh, who is it you like? Oh, gosh. How much do you get for a player like Uber in this corona environment? Exactly. And that's the real talk because, before all this started, we were talking like 60 million. I think most of us will be grateful if we get at least 45 for it. Some papers suggest it might be as low as 35 million for him. Even in this environment, I will be shocked if it's only 35. You are conspiracy theorists. Um, People who get annoyed at channel owners asking to hit the like button don't get YouTube. That's the point. It all acts on algorithms and stuff like that. So traffic and traffic activity is the way YouTube works. And quite frankly, if you don't get traffic activity, then YouTube won't take you seriously. But if you do get traffic activity, all of a sudden the way YouTube treat you is very different, and that genuinely is the truth. Chris New, that's my guy. That's my guy. I hope you're well, Chris. I hope you're well, brother. Uh, there you go. There's my co-host right there for the Combat Show. Every Friday, guys, 9:30, we drop a show. So make sure if you are an MMA fan or boxing fan, you subscribe to that channel. Ben Wenger never built players around like Sanchez, etc. Chib, did you hear about Africans that live in China? Yes, I did. And you know what? To be honest, for the sake of this channel, I'm not going to comment on it. I'm not going to say anything nice. So I won't comment on it. But yes, I have. I have heard about it. I was Terry in the chat. Big up, Terry. I hope you're well. I must have missed you, bro. I hope you're well. I hope you're well. It's Daniel in the chat as well. Big up to you, Daniel. I hope you're well. The blind gooner. Um, Alachig, I hope you're good. Diesel in the house. Question: if you got rid of 3 current players to get 3 in, who would it be? If I could get rid of any 3 players, it'd be Mesut Ozil, Granit Xhaka, Squadra Mustafi. 3 players in would be, for me, it'd be Jonathan Tah. Any 3. Neves or Navas. I don't know why I said it like that. And I'd love Havertz. I love Havertz. I don't know if Havertz now is borderlining dream unrealistic signing, but I Havertz for the sake of it. Oh no, sorry, not Neves. Partey. I told you guys already. Partey's dream signing. Status. We could somehow pull that off. Oh my goodness. Would I take Griezmann? No, I would not. I changed my mind on that recently as well. But no, I wouldn't. No, I wouldn't. Uh, yes, you're right. I completely forgot about Partey. Partey is my dream signing. It's my dream signing. Chig, what is your favorite 5 defenders in the world? I'm going to do a video on that soon, Samuel, so I won't ruin it just now. But I have been asked that before, and I will do a video on that, I promise. Mr. Roberts, great show. Right, the great defender debate. Koulibaly, Upamecano, Tah, Diop, Ndeka rank these in depth chart. Oh, I'm going to do that real quickly. Taking everything into account, Upamecano, Koulibaly, Tah, Ndeka, Diop. That would be how I'd rate those 5. All of them, by the way, are excellent defenders. I'd take Diop now. Don't get it twisted. I just think that's how I'd rate them, rank them. Chig needs a quarantine. Oh, bro. Where's my hat at? That's why I've been wearing that hat. My hairline is, every time I look there, it's depressing. That's why I'm just going to do that from now on. Got a Marcelo, PK, Ramos up there amongst the best still. I still don't like Ramos. I still don't rate Ramos. Nicole T. Hey, Chick, great show as always. We desperately need Godfrey Kondogbia. His levels above, his levels as Partey. He's on the same levels as Partey. So I liked Kondogbia from a few years ago. I've noticed things have just gone quiet in that area. So I assumed the level had dropped, to be honest, just because I hadn't really heard anything. But yeah, I did like Kondogbia from a few years ago. But yeah, I think that's a great point, Nicole. Great point. Nah, man. I'm too nervous to do my own hairline. Funny enough, I've got razors. I've actually got an electric razor. And it's getting to the point where I might just have to just do it myself. Nah, I know he is. I know he is. But for me, I just feel like he's overrated as his ability is overrated. But obviously, if he's for you, then yeah, everyone needs a little bit of a bastard like that. I agree. I agree. I see lots of people disagree, Nicole. Like I said, I did like Ndombia a few years ago, and I just assumed. I assumed that it wasn't, I assumed he'd just dropped off the face of the earth because he'd just gone quiet. Do it on a live stream. No chance. Especially if I was to actually do it. Whatever. Ain't that bad. Ain't that bad. When everything is lined up, it looks better. I did see this comment earlier, Mike. I don't know if that's on loan, but that's what's being reported in the papers. They plays for La Liga 2. Ramos is, like I said, I don't know the Sassy guy. I've never heard of him, truth be told. But I will do all the research I can for him for next time. Ramos is a see you next Tuesday. He broke Salah's arm just to beat Liverpool. Oh, I'm all for that. but like I say, ability wise, everyone talks about the fact that he's a bastard. I know that. Ability wise, I think he's overrated. Kondogbia is nowhere near party level. It's like comparing Mbappe with Lingard. Oh no, that's harsh. Don't do my boy Kondogbia like that. No, that's harsh. That's how I tend to think that party is light years ahead as well. But don't let's not do Kondogbia that bad. Lingard is an Instagrammer that plays football. I'm surprised he's not being linked with Cavalia. Bro, the Cavalia link is coming. It's coming. It's been coming. For 5 years we've been linked with this kid. He must be a good 25, 26 years old now. It's coming. Hacks usually says something interesting. Arsenal's apparent financial shortcoming could force them to end their pursuit of Thomas Partey, who reportedly has a yeah, I expect that to be part of the report as well. It is what it is. I mean, for me, if their whole aim is to save 25 million, I'd be shocked if this has an ultimate, shall we say, an ultimate effect on their transfer window. Because if it's 25 million they're effectively trying to raise so that they pay people less, then sell as many people as you can. We've needed to get rid of Deadwood for how long? And we always do a half job with it. Half job with it. Half job with it. Let's just sell everybody. Why is El Nene still on the books? Why are you haggling over Mkhitaryan? For me, take 10 million for Mkhitaryan. I know I said 15 yesterday. Take 10 million for Mkhitaryan. Ultimately, the longer term aim is that 180k a week is off the books. This is how you save money. Don't worry about the current players. Do something about the players that you have on loan. So I don't know. We'll see. For me, Partey is the sort of player where you make an exception for, and even if you have to pay out of your own pocket to then recoup later, you do that. He's that type of player. And especially if we can get him for half the price he would be, then let's do it. Thoughts on the Newcastle takeover? Good for them, man. I ain't gonna lie. I like Newcastle and Mike Ashley. Well, let's just say I don't want to get sued, but let's just say good for them. That's all I can say. I love Ramos because he has my name. Of course, at least you're real about it, Sergio. At least you're real about it. Mr. Hernandez in the house. Partey, Tah, Upamecano, Hakimi is what we need. Maybe even Aubameyang and Lacazette down. Oh, you know what? I won't reveal nothing, but let's just say I like your list. I've said Chig. I've said that. I've always said that, Chig, that I think it's always important in my opinion, to get rid of the Deadwood. Bro, I ask anybody in this chat room. For me, I said the most important thing we do this summer ain't even buying. It's selling. Sell all these unnecessary. We have 8 defenders on the books, bro, and we're all talking about the fact we need a defender. 8 defenders. Let's just sell some of these people. Sell this Deadwood for flip's sake. All right, guys, literally 4 more minutes and I'm out of here. Please do stick a like on this video. Remember what I said. The Combat Show, link is in the description. My movie channel, Chick Flicks, link is in the description. Not far away from 200 subscribers on that channel. So make sure we get that going. Because let me tell you something. When I come thick and fast on that Chick Flicks channel, you're going to be surprised how much content I put out there. I know I always threaten this. I want things to be just right. I want it to feel different from this. And it hasn't yet, but it will. So that's why I have not yet been as active on that channel as I should. But when we go, we're going to go on that channel. So make sure you subscribe. Come nice and early. What else? What else? What else? Plans for this channel. I want to do a podcast on Sunday. Both of the guys have been in the chat room at least today, but I'll see if I can get the forces of Ola, Big D's, and I may get Lewis, Mr. White. It's been a long time since I've had him on. I think that combination will work very well. For me, I like planning combinations of people. I think that combination of people will work well. So let's see. I like bringing forces together. So we'll see what happens. Especially people that don't necessarily know each other, but that might do a good show. So I think that would work well. But we'll see, because Ola is like a superstar these days. My man's always busy. So we'll see. Chris, Henry or Ronaldo? Come on, guy. I was gonna ask my fan this. Come on now. Come on, guy. I'm not gonna answer it. You're a HI guy, of course you like that. True. I am yeah, it's a fair point. I can't guilty. How many ins and outs do you see at the club? How many people do I see at the club coming in? 2, 3. Outs wise, 4, 5, maybe. So we'll see. Are you looking forward to seeing Saliba? Yeah, I am. I am, Terry. I do think that we're putting a lot of expectation on him, and I do worry. But I also think he'll surprise a lot of people that think he'll be crap. I think he'll be good, but he's also only 19. And I think it's important to give him time to settle in, because we're terrible at giving big money signings time. See Pepe, for example, you know. And I still think that both Saliba and, incidentally, Pepe will come good. It's just a case of giving them time to settle. So we'll see what happens. But I'm looking forward to it. That's why I think it's so crucial we get the right partner for Saliba. And although I think there are better defenders out there, I like the idea of Tah, and I like the idea of even Diop, because those guys are just a little bit older, but they've also got key experience. And I think experience next to a young kid is important. It's an important combination to have. So even though I think, yeah, of course, there's a better defender out there than Diop, there's a better defender out there than Tah, but it's the experience factor that I think would be a good combination for Saliba. And according to all reports, Saliba is set to have a main role in this team next year. So, you know, we'll see. For me, Saliba to develop as fast as possible, people need a world-class defender next to him. See, for me, and I like Joseph. It's opinions like that I worry about, because that puts a lot of pressure on this kid. And me personally, I'd rather him just settle into the role. Do your thing, settle into the role first, before we then start putting expectation. So there's a lot of young centre-back pairings. Yeah, but Tyron, for me, very rarely do you see a successful young centre-back pairing. Very rarely. There always has to be that one person with experience. Very rarely do you see two young cats. In fact, the only time I've ever ironically seen that is for RB Leipzig, where Upamecano plays alongside Canute for at least some of the season. Though one is 20, one is 19 years old. That to me is very, very rare. Very rare. Very rarely do you see two people that young playing as a centre-back pairing, especially in the Premier League. Come on, guy. You know better than that. All right. I think that's it. I think that's enough of me rabbiting on. Guys, please do stick a like on this video. Drill that like button like someone that offended you. Drill it. It helps. I know you hate me bagging on about it, but as Marble said, this is YouTube, baby. You know, we need YouTube to pay a little bit more care, a little bit more love to this channel. And the best way you guys can do it is help me get noticed. and also help the show grow. Subscribe if you haven't already. This is what I do daily. We bring you news. We bring you transfer news. We comment on stuff. This is what we do. I'm trying to do these a little bit earlier while I'm working from home, just because if I haven't had a lunch break, it's easier to just do this at home and then return back to work. So that's pretty much literally what I'm about to do now. So yeah, I hope you guys have enjoyed the show. Please do stick a like on this video. Please hit that subscribe button. I'll be back again tomorrow. Please stay safe out there. This thing is still going. There's still terrible news. Hopefully, God willing, we're going to see the light at the end of the tunnel in a good way to the situation. So stay safe. Don't go out unnecessarily. I know the place is probably driving you mad, but just keep grinding, keep going. And yeah, see you on the other side. Hopefully, football will be back sooner rather than later. Stay safe. I'll be back again tomorrow. Peace.